right, guys, it's that time. You already know, Season 2.5 tier list. A lot of big changes to this season of Marvel Rivals. Big sways. Mostly, like, a lot of team-up changes. Spice things up quite a bit, too, especially with how you need to be banning this season. We'll talk about that, but let's just get right into the action because you guys want to see the tier list here. Okay, Adam Warlock. This is the wrong one. Adam Warlock, man. I'm going to put him in B tier. Like, Res Comp is still very good with the team-up because of Adam, but there's other things that are going to be significantly better right now that you're going to see later in the list. Not too much to say on Adam, like still very playable, especially in triple support comps, or that can be very good. But outside of that, like if he does not have the team comp built around him, he's not going to be one of the top picks, in my opinion. Still very playable, but especially in your ranked games, like there's better supports for you to play in a solo queue environment. Black Panther, awful. Absolutely awful character. He is so inefficient. He's just an absolutely terrible character. Like, you can play him, sure, and you can get some value on him, but it's going to be so much harder for you to get value playing Panther than it is playing most of the cast in the game, especially with Flyers, specifically a couple of them that you're going to see high up on this list. He's just going to fall off even more, in my opinion. So sorry, Black Panther players. No love for you guys. He was very fun in the beta a year ago, but I think the Panther time to shine has already kind of gone away. So Black Panther, gonna be down in D tier. Black Widow, man. I mean, she's A tier, maybe S. She is one of the most sleeper busted characters in the entire game. Also got a piercing team up this season. If I was not going to rank her in A tier, I would rank her in S tier. She is secretly so good. She counters flankers well. She can mitigate flankers well because there's no way to dodge her kick and stun. It's almost a guaranteed land once you figure out how to use it. So not real counterplay around that, not very much. And outside of that, she's just a very sleeper character. Super high damage output, very good with the Mantis. Watch out for Black Widows. Dangerous character that has snuck up on a lot of people with a lot of power creep coming her way. She is very solid this season. Captain America, big nerfs, thank God. I'm going to put him in B tier. If anything, he's lower than that. I think we underrated Cap big time last season. Obviously, one of the more boring characters to play against, one of the more unfun characters to play against. The way he just stalled was really annoying, so I'm glad they actually changed that. He might be lower than this, but I'm going to put him in B tier until I play against him a lot more and figure out really what's going on. So Captain America, I'm just going to say, is B tier. Cloak and Dagger. Okay, I still don't think Cloak is that good. I'm going to put Cloak in C tier. Like, I think Cloak is a fine pick in average rank games, right? But when you start to get up to the ceiling, I think there's a lot of characters that can do more than Cloak and Dagger can. To be clear, perfectly fine support to pick. You can put out a lot of different stuff. It's just, in the optimal situation, other supports will probably be better, but that's really not until you get to the high rank. So if you're in the metal ranks or an average rank player, playing Cloak and Dagger to be a good support is fine. Just be careful about the Magnetos, man. You got to watch out for those. Okay, Doctor Strange. He's actually a lot better now than he was before, but I'm going to keep him in B tier for right now. He really struggles against Flyers, who are going to be pretty good this season. We're going to talk about why momentarily. I know Torch got nerfed, but there's one that came back because of a team-up we'll talk about later. But I still think Strange is a very solid pick. He's definitely not bad. If I had to change his ranking from here, he'd be A tier, not B tier. But I haven't seen enough out of him yet to rank him higher than B tier. I think he's a very solid pick. Very solid pick. If he was going to go anywhere, he would go way up, in my opinion. Groot. Big nerfs. I'm going to put Groot in B tier. Not because he's bad, but because of what is going to dominate ranked games, in my opinion, is going to be a bad matchup for Groot. Like, again, I think Groot is still a good character. He only had one of his walls get nerfed. And again, if he was going to be ranked differently on my tier list, he would be up as well. It's just, again, the Flyers are, particularly Storm, we're going to get to, is something to watch out for this season that, you know, she can do a lot. Wolverine's still very good, into Groot at least, and I think bans are going to be pulling away from Wolverine and more towards other characters that are must bans, meaning if you want to run Groot, there's going to be way more of your counters available, so that's why I have him down where he is. Hawkeye, dude, I mean, my God. I think Hawkeye's S tier. The team up with Luna is insane. It's insane. You can shoot players through walls. I don't know what they were thinking with that. It's absurd. Some good damage changes to him as well. He's been getting some steady buffs. Again, in the right hands and the right player, Hawkeye is going to be absolutely disgusting. So yeah, I think Hawkeye absolutely S tier this season. Same for Hela. She's just unbelievably good. You already know what's going on. Like, you know, she is just insta-hit scan, best damage dealer, duelist in the game. I mean, she's just absolutely insane when it comes to dueling and just insta-killing somebody. She's not going anywhere anytime soon, especially with Flyers being very good this season. Hela, obviously, still going to be an S+ tier pick, man. Absolutely nasty character. Bruce Banner, hot take. I think Hulk is back, man. I think Iron Man stonks are up big this season, which means that Banner is going to be a very, very solid pick. I think Bruce Banner and the Hulk are back, man. Hulk, great tank, can do so much. Again, I'm up on the Hulk stonks, and I think particularly because of the Gamma team up, he's going to be way back up in S tier, mainly for that team up with Iron Man. So Iron Fist got some big nerfs. I think he's going to be B tier. Again, if Flyers are really, really strong, he's going to drop down to C, maybe. I still think he's a decent pick now. I mean, he's not like one of the worst characters in the game, but he's definitely not one of the best. Very middle of the pack. Good survivability on his own. I think when the Iron Fist players really figure out his gameplay loop, they can just survive for a very long time. And that's very, very valuable in this day and age in the game. Got my lemonade, baby. So yeah, I don't think Iron Fist is a terrible pick, but he's definitely not one of the best DPS in the game anymore. Iron Man! Dude, I think in ranked, Iron Man is S tier, and here is why, okay? On his own, he's nowhere near that. But the biggest win con that's automatic win in the game right now is the Sharknado combo with Storm and Jeff, okay? Iron Man is the only character in the game that I can think of off the top of my head that can instantly counter and deny that ult combo, okay? Sharknado kills through every support ult in the game because Jeff eats them up while Storm is in the tornado, and they're pulled out of every support ult. On Iron Man, when the Storm ults, you can save your ult and instantly ult her and guaranteed insta-kill her, denying the Sharknado combo. It is the hardest Sharknado combo in the game, and he's good into the matchup with Storm as a flyer with his buffs as well. He also gives Ultron, who's going to, listen, I'm not quite sure how good Ultron is going to be or bad. The reality is, all these kids are picking him in every game. So giving Ultron the team up to help his team more is really, really, really good because these kids are going to pick Ultron anyway. I'm not saying this is the meta in high-level play or like pro play, right? I'm just saying in y'all's rank games, let's be real. You're seeing an Ultron every game. Picking Iron Man, especially to help mitigate the best team up in the game and hard counter it, that is why he is S tier to me in ranked this season. He puts out an unbelievable amount of damage as well, and that magnetic pulse cannon, that ult, hard counters Storm and keeps her in check, meaning she can't ult into your team with the Jeff and wipe everybody. Even if you're in a Luna ult, even if you're in a Mantis, it doesn't matter, right? She'd kill everybody. So, yeah, Iron Man to me, S tier in most of your games this season. Just save your ult for Sharknado. Jeff is at least A tier for that exact same reason. I think Jeff and Storm are going to be two of the most banned characters in the game this season. I haven't seen too much of his rework. I think it's much better than it was before. But again, I can't rank Jeff lower than A tier in ranked just because that combo is so easy to pull off and it just wipes everybody, especially in the metal ranks. Like, metal rank players in particular are going to get team wiped by this all the time. All the time. So because of that, if he's open and Storm is opened, you have a guaranteed wipe on their team, even if they have support ults. So that, by definition, means I've got to put him in A tier or higher when you have a win con that is that guaranteed. So Jeff, gonna go up to A tier for me this season, and let's keep it moving. Loki, still an S tier pick in my opinion. His entire kit is nuts. His copy is nuts. I don't even need to speak on this too much. He's been S tier from the very beginning, and he's gonna stay there. Absolutely insanely powerful character. Big Loki stonks. If you're a Loki player, you are still happy. Character is insane. And the same goes for Luna Snow, who gives Hawkeye this team up and can like two-shot people in the head. Her damage is crazy right now. She already was an insane character. She has so much utility on her kit. For some reason, they refuse to nerf her ult duration, which is really, really silly to me, because they're going to have to figure out how to nerf her kit around that, and it's just too hard to do without destroying her neutral. So again, Luna Snow, I don't think it's going to surprise anybody. Absolutely S tier pick. Is difficult to play, but insanely strong pick. Best support ult in the game. We'll leave it at that. Okay. Magic, dude. I think Magic is donkey shit. She's so bad, guys. She's so bad. Again, Flyer stonks up, Magic stonks down, especially with Penny Parker getting some big buffs as well. She's in the same boat as Panther. They're going to struggle in most matchups in the game now. Does that mean you can't get value on Magic? No. What it does mean is that it's going to be infinitely harder to get value on Magic against some of these Flyer matchups than it is on any other character in the game. When you force yourself into an uphill battle, that does not mean that the Magic can't get value. It just means that it's going to be way easier to play something else. And that's why I'm going to put her way down at the bottom. So if you're a Magic player, you can still enjoy playing Magic, but you're going to have a tough time dealing with Penny Parker and Rocket Raccoon and all these people. So, okay. Magneto, no surprise here. Another S tier. He's still S tier. His ult is insane. It can counter the Iron Man ult. You can throw it into Cloak and Dagger. You can do anything. You can counter Hella ult. You can counter so many things. You can one-shot Luna Snow with it. It does so much. One of the few tanks that can pierce through support ults, deny DPS ults. This dude does everything. He's not going anywhere anytime soon, and that's why you see all the TikToks of Magneto's dunking. Absolute beast. Okay, Mantis. Bad. I love Mantis. She's one of my favorite supports to play. I'd love to see her get buffed. The only time I realistically see her getting played at all is if triple res comp is being played with Adam and Star-Lord. That's the only time you'll ever see her. Sorry, Mantis players. You know, I love her too, but they've got to do more to her kit. It's crazy to me that her neutral can have so much less output than Luna Snow, but they'll buff Luna Snow, not nerf Luna's ult, but make sure Mantis ult really falls down. It doesn't make much sense. And that's just because there's a lot of bias internally for Luna, which call it what you will, but you know, K-pop star sells skins, right? Okay. I'm going to put Moon Knight in B tier, man. I think he's solid. He doesn't do well against Flyers, but I love playing him into Loki. He's fun to play in ranked. I just admit this. I have Moon Knight bias. I love the way he feels to play. I think his ult is fun to use. I think he's just a fun character. So just in general, this is my cheat. I love playing Moon Knight. If I was going to rank him higher or lower than B tier, my guess would be lower, but he's by no means bad. He's not unpickable, but there's better stuff to play in the game. He's not as bad as Panther and Magic, but he's not one of the top DPS either. Namor. I think Namor stonks are down. Namor stonks are down. Good against dive, but Flyers are what's good right now. I'm going to put him in B tier. And the reason why I'm going to put him in B tier, it's like with so many Flyers getting run in comp, it's just hard. There's not a lot of people on the ground for you to ult anymore. He's just not that good into these characters, in my opinion. He's bad into what's good. Right? He's not optimal into what's good. I think it's the better way. So Namor's not bad. His survivability got nerfed, and the Flyers are really hard to deal with. You can deal with them on Namor, but he's definitely not one of the top DPS in the game into that, in my opinion. I think Penny is good situational. Like, the Penny one tricks are going to get a lot of value. The team up with Rocket is much better for her. She's definitely better. You can play her in a lot of situations. She's not Mag or Banner to enable the Flyers. She's just not. And she kind of gets fucked by Flyers. Pardon my French. So I think Penny's B tier. She's not like C or D tier. I think she's B tier. She's definitely going to have a lot of moments where you can run her and she's pretty valuable. She'd be very frustrating and irritating to deal with. So Penny, kind of a sleeper pick. Not bad. If I had to say bad B or good B, she'd be a good B for sure. Psylocke. I think Psylocke is A tier. Again, like, she's got a good matchup into Iron Man. She can kind of deal with the storms. She can flank the Rocket. She's very, very solid. I don't think she's S tier broken necessarily, but she's definitely one of the better half of the DPS in the game. So not much else to say there. I think Psy's still a very good pick, especially if they have the Iron Man. Big stonks on Psylocke. I like Psylocke. I like where she's at. Rocket Raccoon, man. I still think Rocket's S tier. I think he's super accessible, super easy, immediate value. His res beacon's broken. His new ult is good. Destroyable, but good. AoE healing. Insane sustain for the team. Crazy good character, good escapability as well. I think really his res beacon just makes him so strong. Like, the fact that you can automatically mitigate one of your teammates' mistakes just makes you so good. And people don't realize how good that is. So Rocket Raccoon, S tier for me. Just in ranked, he's so broken. Scarlet Witch, B tier at best. You know, the team up with Strange helps her, but again, she doesn't really have the burst damage to check Flyers. Like, she's not bad. Like, you can get value on Witch. Her ult can kill through the support ults in the game. You can even kill the Storm ult, I guess, if you time it right when she's coming in. But it's like a harder to use version of Iron Man's ult, and she's very, very vulnerable. So I just think she's a worse version of Iron Man into countering the Storm combo, which is like, for me, that was the number one thing you had to look out for in rank to start the season. So I think Witch is B tier. Like, solid, not great, but not terrible either. Spidey, man, Spidey lost his team up. Flyers are still very good. I can't rank him higher than B tier. I can't do it. I can't do it. I think he's very mid. Again, like, he was probably A tier last season in ranked, but this season without the symbiote team up, he's definitely going to be B tier at best. Not much else to say at that. Super mid. The team up was the main thing that took him to A tier potentially if you built a comp around him, but you can't do that anymore. So Spidey stonks down. Squirrel Girl. I've not actually had the chance to play Squirrel Girl yet, but I'm going to put her in B tier as well, primarily because the flyers are so good and she doesn't have a really great answer to them. But, you know, if group comps were better, she'd be a lot better. She's great against dive, but dive stonks are also down this season because of the flyers. I think she's mid. I don't think she's bad. I think she's mid. And again, I have not had the chance to play her yet, and she did get some buffs, but I don't think the style of play that's really dominating the ranked meta right now for what we're seeing in the first day or so, really, I don't think she's great into what's good. You have to be able to answer Storm Jeff if you aren't banning them perma. If the flyers are banned, she actually might be pretty decent. So more on Squirrel Girl later. I'm a big fan of hers. I like how she plays in the game. All right, Star-Lord. I think Star-Lord is A or B tier. I'm going to play it safe and put him B tier. Like, his ult into Ultron comps. If they're playing 2 supports and one of them is an Ultron, he's A tier for sure. Because, again, he just rips with his ult. I'm going to put him in A tier for that reason. Because most players aren't smart enough to run Star-Lord or Ultron with 2 other supports. So, for that reason, when they're missing a sustain ult, Star-Lord's ult gets so good so fast. And it's insane into flyers. So, I think because of the lethality of his ult, when a lot of people are running Ultron without the extra support, which is most of your all's games, he's so good. He's so good, even with his nerfs. I think he got nerfed a little bit, but he's still solid. I think Star-Lord is a very solid DPS pick. One of the better ones in the game, but definitely not top tier. All right, here we go. Storm. S tier, bro. Listen, if they are playing Sharknado with Jeff and Storm, and you are not, G fucking G. GG, dude. You lose. Like, you just lose the game. Like, if they are half decent at running that comp, it is unbeatable with most support ults in the game. It's insane. I got floored by it earlier. I was playing well, and I could just tell. I was like, okay, something's not right here. And the answer was just Sharknado. I then ran it the next 3 games and easily won every single game. With ease. Not even close. The team up with Jeff is actually just an auto win in 90% of situations. And the only way that you can counter it is with an Iron Mantle. That's the only thing that I've seen work. And I don't think you can bubble the Storm on her ult, but if you can, that'll save her. So it's just like Sharknado is just like everything in the game, including the ban phase, is based around blocking that or playing that right now. And that's because it's that powerful. If Jeff is not in S tier, Storm has to be. So Storm, S tier this season, primarily because of that team up. Straight up. Straight up, it's primarily because of that team up. It's absolutely insane. You guys are going to be dying to a lot of Sharknadoes, and there's nothing that you can do about it. So, Punisher. Got some solid buffs, but I still think he's middle of the pack. He does good damage, especially to on-the-ground characters, and you'd think he's good into flyers, but he's really not that great into the flyers. Like, he can do consistent damage. I'm not saying he's bad, but, like, you're so immobile while the flyers can take angles all around you. It's easier to take angles on the flyers than it is to actually create a kill angle against like a triple DPS comp with a flyer on the right, a flyer on the left. You're getting poked from every angle. It's very hard to play Punisher into it. He can be very good because he's hit scan into that, right? But he doesn't have the burst damage threat that Hela has to insta-kill somebody. So if you're an aim god, yes, like he's still a very solid pick, and his buffs were very good. It's just his buffs, which were good buffs, don't answer this, right? Doesn't answer this. Now, I will say, when you punish your ult, you cannot get eaten by the Sharknado, and you do have a chance to kill the Storm. You just take a fuckload of damage, and you need to be in a Cloak and Dagger ult or something like that to live it. And even then, it's very hard. So, Punisher, very solid. I would rank him higher rather than lower than B tier if I was forced to choose. He's a good, solid B tier this season, in my opinion. Thor, I mean, he got his changes. I just don't think he moves the needle that much for the flyers being good. Like, truthfully, I don't really know where to rank Thor. I don't think he's unpickable. He's definitely not a top tier DPS. I wish I could spend more time talking about this guy, but I have not seen enough of his rework to give you an honest and accurate opinion. So, kind of question marks on me for Thor, so I'm going to throw him in B tier. I'm unsure. I don't know. Full disclosure. Content creators admitting they don't know something. I know that's not what you're supposed to do in these videos, is it? But like, truly, I just don't know. I'm not going to bullshit you. So, Venom. Put him in B tier. I don't think he's bad. Like, I saw some good Venom play today. I don't see him being that great into the flyers, unless you're banning them. So, I don't really know where to put Venom either. He's a solid tank. Again, I think if he's not here, he's an A tier, for sure. But I just don't think he's that good into what's good right now. I think he gets absolutely lambasted by Gamma. Storm just fries his team through him. She can pop her E when he comes in. He doesn't stop the Jeff Nato. He can avoid it. So, like, if you're running a triple DPS comp with Venom, like dive, and your goal is to disperse so the Storm Jeff ult doesn't get anything, that could be good. But that's not happening in any of your all's games. So, For your all's game, I think Venom is a solid pick. Not a bad pick, but definitely not Magneto or, you know, Hulk or something to enable. So, okay. Bucky, man. I think Bucky's very good. I think Bucky's A tier for sure. Again, he's got the damage to deal with flyers. His ult can be very, very good. It can team wipe consistently. And especially if there's a combo that is killing through support ults, you might see less of those survive forever Luna ults that will give him an opportunity to pierce things, right? So I still think Bucky's really, really good. Great survivability on the kit. Still has a good team up if he's got Cap on his team. Good pick overall. Okay. Now, Wolvie, man, I think Wolverine's A tier. He's not good in the flyers, right? But there's almost always a tank that is on the ground. And with Storm and Jeff soaking bans, he's banned a lot less. And there's a lot more opportunity to bully those tanks. And Groot rises up a lot if the flyers are banned, in my opinion. And that opens up a lot for Wolverine. I think he's really, really good. He can be pretty good into Hulk as well. Like, if you manage to grab a Hulk while he's ulting or something, like, you do so much damage to him. I think he's a better version of Iron Fist in those brawler comps. Mr. F. I think Wolverine on his own just can do so much damage. It's hard for me to rank him lower. But if I had to re-rank him, he would be B tier, not S tier. He's closer to B, like an A- for Wolverine. Mr. F, I think, got good buffs, but again, he can't really do much to the flyers, right? I'm going to put him in B tier. I don't think he's terrible. I just don't think he's that good into what is dominating ranked, at least in the average player's game. So, again, Mr. F, not much to say there. Just generally kind of B tier. Just very, very Mr. Mid. Mid-tastic, okay? Susan! I'm going to put her in A tier because she gets rolled by this. Her team will still die from this. But she's still very good. I think Susan is very good. It just depends on what's getting banned. If Storm or Iron Man are banned and the one-shots through her ult are banned, she'd be S tier for sure. If they aren't banned, she falls down a tier because her ult is just going to get pierced consistently. And I cannot let someone who is getting pierced constantly actually be in the S tier category. The S tier champions are all the champions that pierce and override everything. One-shot potential, insane two-tap potential, enables the S tier. S tier on his own, S tier on her own, denies and pierces support ults and denies ults. Pierces everything. So, like, you know, the piercers and, like, the best stuff in the game is on top. She's going to be on the bottom just by a little bit, okay? And Johnny Storm, he's a good flyer, but, oh, it's a flyer meta. I don't know. I don't know about Johnny. I really don't know where his nerfs landed him. I'm going to say A tier because there's a lot of flyers getting played right now, and he's still not bad with his supernova. And he can kind of check a Storm. I'm not quite sure. I think he's A tier, but like the fact that he's got so much mobility and survivability on his own with range damage means I'm going to keep him in A tier. I don't know where he'd fall. I'm not sure where he'd fall. If there's a Storm on the team, he could still be very, very good. We'll see. I'm going to put Johnny Blaze, Johnny Storm, Human Torch. A tier. I want to rank the thing in A tier. I think he is A tier. But, bro, if they've got a Storm and Iron Man pumping you and range damage destroying you, I'm going to drop him down a tier because he's just going to sit there and get fucking blitzed. Like, he just takes so much damage. Everything I saw was just getting pummeled with range damage, and he couldn't really survive on his own. He's a solid tank, but I think poke and flyers are so good for people right now and so easy to get value on that it's just harder to get value on this style of character in this instance of the game. B tier for now. If I had to re-rank him, he would be up in A tier, a B+ for the thing, okay? Emma Frost. I think she's A tier still. She got nerfed slightly. She was S tier before, it turned out. I think she's A tier because she can solo anchor herself, right? She doesn't do a lot to flyers, but with her diamond form and her shield, she can anchor a corner by herself. And her ult is really good into Iron Man. It can pull him down. It can pull Storm in. You can ult the flyer and pull them into you, right? So she has some options, like a Star-Lord ult she can check. She's like a worse version of Mag with her ult for control, but it's still there. So I'm going to put her, and she can anchor herself well. So I'm going to put her in A tier. She's like A-, in my opinion. A-. Like, still good at anchoring on her own, but like not great into a lot of these things up top. But I think she's good on her own. And that leaves Ultron. So let's talk about Ultron. Best for last, right? If you don't have an Iron Man, B tier at best. If you don't have his third support, B tier at best. Like, he can kind of heal, but he can't put out as much as everybody else, and he doesn't have a defensive ult. So he's very much like Jeff the Shark in the previous couple seasons, where if you got a Luna Snow and a Loki on your team, and you could run triple support Jeff, he was one of the best characters in the game into triple res comp. But if you didn't have those things, he dropped down to B tier at best. So, again, it depends on the bans and it depends on what's happening. Ultron is very, very playable and can be very, very good, especially on the new map that just got added where there's those long corridors that he can sit in the back. Personally, I'm a big fan of his design. I think when he has an Iron Man, he's A tier, at least. If he doesn't, though, he's gonna be B tier. A very solid champion and support, but definitely not one of the best, right? But still, I think he's very good. I like his design, and I like him a lot. We're gonna give Ultron a B+, just because he's very volatile. Okay, so this is my Season 2.5 tier list. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? What was I wrong about, guys? Because I'm not 100% sold on a lot of these champions, but I know one thing for sure. The bans, the gameplay is going to revolve around Storm and Jeff. If they aren't banned, you better figure out how to answer them quickly. If Iron Man's banned, watch out for Storm and Jeff. If Storm is banned, you don't need to play as much Iron Man. There's a lot of different things that go into this, but the game is definitely fresh and spiced up. So that's my Season 2.5 tier list. If you liked it, let me know. If you didn't, let me know why. Much love, guys. I will catch y'all next time. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Take care. Much love. See y'all later.